Gabrielle and I had January for the Global Citizenship Project, and we chose to talk about the inauguration of the 45th President of the U.S. Because that was definitely the largest event that happened in the United States throughout January.
So on January 20th, 2017, Donald John Trump became the 45th President of the United States. This took place at the Capitol building in Washington, D.C. And this majorly affects our country because he is the elected leader and will serve as the basically the top political position in our country, and we'll have to deal with foreign relations and foreign security, which impacts other countries and other nations as well. So those are the major details of the event.
An activity that we thought would be fitting for third graders studying the inauguration ties into the standard for third grade social studies, that is, exemplify how citizens contribute politically, socially, and economically to their community. This activity aligns perfectly because it involves students viewing an article and going through it and kind of picking it apart with discussion questions. And then group discussion, and then a class discussion to talk about what we find in a good citizen, what makes that good citizen an important part of the community. And then the next activity that follows up with that is that the class will nominate who they believe will be a good class president. And then we will have voters registration, and then we have a ballot for them to fill out. And we'll essentially just go to the polls in our own classroom to give students a feel for election day. So here we have the article and the questions that go with the article, and they just kind of prompt students to be thinking about the main idea of the article, which ties it back into an ELA standard, and then also just ways that students can be good citizens themselves and how they can make their own community a better place. These are some examples that we found of creating polls for students to vote at in the classroom to give students that feeling of voting as they will be one day for the United States president. And then here is the voter registration form, and then also the ballot, which has a very official feel to it, so the students will love that. And we chose this activity because we believe that it's going to challenge the students to think about what makes them a good citizen or what doesn't make them a good citizen. They'll have to look at students around them in their very own community and evaluate those classmates to see the impact of their positive citizenship and how that has impacted the classroom. The students who have shown the good citizenship and good leadership are going to be recognized through this activity because they will likely be the ones who are picked to go on the ballot. And so they will be rewarded, and those who aren't picked, it might make them reevaluate why they may have not been picked and push them to work towards becoming a better citizen.
So like Grace said earlier, the standard that we related this current event to is from third grade civics and government, saying that students should exemplify how citizens contribute politically, socially, and economically to their community. And for this requirement, they'll need to know how citizens can be responsible and contribute to the actions of their community and how they can take part basically in their own government system by voting and stating their opinions and their rights. So that's the major standard that we related this project to.
Some terms that we pulled from the standards that Gabrielle was just talking about are citizen, citizenship, and community. All three of these are addressed in the article that we chose to use for the activity. And then for citizen and citizenship, we felt that it would be important for students to see that exemplified through the teacher in their own classroom. So the importance of law, order, and rules with regard to any society or group of individuals, so that reaches to every student in the classroom. And then citizenship, membership in a political community, and then the rights and the political participation. So now they're going to begin to see their being in the classroom more as citizenship to a community, because their community has that political community and it has those rights to political participation now. And then their community, of course, they will relate to the students in their classroom, because they are a group of people who are living together and learning to work together and just how to do life efficiently together.
So because this event is so important, and the actions and decisions that the president makes from here on out reflects on and affects our society, it's easy to relate this current event to the 5 strands of social studies. So students can learn about geography through the inauguration by locating where Washington, D.C. is on a map and looking at pictures of the Capitol building and where the president-elect will stand to be sworn in as president. And it affects culture because a lot of times popular artists are asked to play or perform at the inaugural ball and the parade following the ceremony. So that relates to the specific time of who is popular and who is well-known and well-liked. And also, it's well established that the First Lady often wears a major fashion statement of the current interest of the time. So this year, Melania Trump followed her habits after Jackie Kennedy. So that can be talked about and related back to history of the inauguration of John F. Kennedy and what they looked like during this time. So the historical factor of social studies is pretty obvious, but we as teachers can talk about how the ceremony has been in place for 228 years. It was originally held in New York City, which is our nation's first capital, and how the president recites the oath word for word from the Constitution, and that must remain unchanged. So all of these factors can be talked about so students can relate this current event to past historical events. For the economic side of social studies, the teacher can explain that the actual cost of this day of the inauguration in 2017 costed around $200 million. And that is paid by different inaugural committees and federal, state, and local governments. In addition to that, you can talk about the economic side of the presidency following the ceremony, about how the president will have will take the position of nominating, or not nominating, will establish budgets for particular departments and set limitations and so on. Then finally, government is the major focus of this event. You can go over a brief explanation of the 3 branches of government and what the specific duties of the president is, who is a part of the executive branch.
For the North Carolina professional teaching standards, we thought that through this lesson and this activity, the 3rd and the 4th standard were most closely reached. So the first one, teachers know the content they teach and they make instruction relevant. So we decided that in order for teachers to show that they know the content they're teaching, it's going to tie back to how are the teachers personally good citizens, and how are they personally establishing that they expect good citizenship in the classroom. And then the instruction is made relevant to the students because the students get to vote on their own and make their own political decisions as a class. The teachers are facilitating learning through the activity that we chose. And then also we chose to show this inauguration ceremony video that Gabrielle is going to talk about next to integrate the technology into the instruction.
So this video is just a short 2-minute video of the actual swearing-in ceremony of the president. It shows President Trump actually reciting the oath from the Constitution. So students will get to see the actual event happening and see what the president says. And I know that several teachers actually live streamed the inauguration ceremony for their students so that they could witness that event. But if you didn't have time for the entire ceremony, then you could just show this shorter video. So that's our project.
And to stop recording, we would do what? Oh, there we go.